actually establish this before we go in and talk about what a successful restaurant would look like. I want to share some thoughts about what a bad restaurant would look like. So starting off with cleanliness. Cleanliness is the absolute ground zero. A restaurant running 101 is cleanliness. If your restaurant is not clean, specifically if your kitchen is not clean, that means you have a long way to go in terms of running a successful restaurant business. That means what it means is very simple. You need to have a lot of built-in discipline and processes to run a kitchen that's spotless. If you can't run a kitchen that's spotless, then like a lot of trouble will be awaiting in terms of hygiene, in terms of standards, in terms of food safety, so on. Number two is value for money. So if it's a badly run restaurant, your customers always feel like we've been ripped off. Uh, it doesn't talk about like a price point; it talks about the value it generates. So, for example, you take Royal Thai for an example. That's at Cinema Lakeside. Uh, I have never seen like people complain about like price being too high. I myself feel like it's like reasonably priced because it brings in like a lot of things. Like you get excellent food, you get like a very good ambience, uh, privacy that you need. Like it's not loud, so on. So value for money is a concept like beyond price. Price is a key element. So, but for badly run restaurants, if you look at Google reviews, Facebook reviews, whatever the review sites, you will always see this comment coming in. We've been ripped off. It was not worth it, so on. So that's a good indicator. Number three is rude staff. If your staff is snapping at people for whatever the reason, sometimes mind you customers deserve that as well. There are like absolutely horrible customers, then you need to again manage it separately. But if the comment rude stuff is coming up like time and time again in your customer reviews, so on, that's an indication for a badly run restaurant. Number four is slow service. That means like a patron comes in and they have to wait 15-20 minutes just to get the menu, or just for someone to come and say hello and offer the menu or offer seating. That's a good indication to say that there are deeper problems in that restaurant. So if I'm a patron and I wait for 20 minutes and nobody comes in, I will stay away from that restaurant, because if that is the treatment for order taking, you can only imagine how your kitchen is run and how your supply chain is run and so on. Next one is bad food quality. Restaurants, we are in restaurant business for good food. So if a particular restaurant has comments food is not tasty, food is bland, undercooked, overcooked, so that means it's not very well run. That means again the issue might be deep rooted in terms of your first of all skill of the chefs, cooks, more importantly what is the process you follow, and noisy or uncomfortable atmosphere. So if it's noisy, so I I'm planning to cover some tricks on atmosphere, like with what kind of food, what kind of music will go on. I'll be not sharing that, but there is always a science like that. So you can always do that research, or get help on that area, like with a consultant. Those consultants are very expensive, because I remember when I was working for John Keel's Hotels, we got a person down. I don't know how impactful that was, but that's when I realized there's science to it. So with a very quick background research, like a desk research, all of you should be able to get that knowledge. That is for let's say you won't be playing hard rock music for a classic North Indian kind of cuisine. So it doesn't go hand in hand. So likewise, I think that pairing is important. So these are indications for a badly run restaurant. So if your restaurant has any of these, some of these, that means it's time for a overhaul, and you need to think through, because it's not like hiring, firing people. I think you need to look through whether I have the right people first of all. whether I have the right processes for these people to like get depth and like start running it nicely, whether I have the right equipment and systems so that people are made the full use of it, and the time is used efficiently, so on. So there are main things to think about if you feel like yes, I have some of these indicators. Okay, next slide.